the sound in these mountains when you're turkey hunting, especially if you're hunting off the ridges, if the listeners can kind of picture, if you're on one ridge, not the best scenario, but the best sound you're going to get is from turkeys straight across from you on the other face of the mountain. Them gobbling back at you. It's going to be very faint the deeper they get on your side. And if there is a finger or a point off any face, doesn't matter if it's across from you on your side, you have to cast that sound down in there, because sometimes you'll be casting straight here and say you're in between two fingers. Well, if you're looking down the hill, the finger on your right, if there's a bird around that finger, he might not be hearing you. So that's why you only move 40, 50 yards sometimes and call again. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing on the face. You know, you're looking at the face of a mountain and trying to call. Well, you might have a point coming diagonal, and you're calling into that diagonal point, and they can't hear you. And then once you get downstream a little bit, you cast your call straight up in that drain. Mm-hmm. And then maybe they'll gobble, but you have to. I mean, that's one thing that we do is, I know we talk about it a bunch in our videos, the sound here, but you have to make sure that you continuously cast the sound in those nooks and crannies. I mean, you're down here for the first time turkey hunting.
Yeah.
So you've been down here 2 weeks in Kentucky and here.
Yeah.
What have you?
I think the biggest
from the mountains.
I think the biggest thing I've taken away from it all is like the most clearest gobble, where you can hear like the like all like the little inflections in the gobble, is like when it's direct line of sight. Like those birds that we were moving on, we were just moving around the curve to them, and when we were getting parallel to them and they were on that point, we were only 200 yards from them maybe. But when we go around, then you're getting farther, and then they sound less clear, and then you get closer to them, and then when they hit the ground, like I was hunting with Zach the other day, and we had this bird, and he was in the tree, and we were set up on the berm. Stupid setup. We were set up on a rock cliff. Didn't know it was there, but the bird comes down, hits the ground, and I was like 10 yards behind Zach, and he goes up to call, and we're like, this thing, it sounds like he's deep down in there, because it was just like, you couldn't really hear it, and it's just off the other side of this point, down 70 yards, and Zach goes over there and calls, and he's like, he's right here, like he's 70 yards, and I'm like, he sounds like he's 150 away from me,
yeah,
and I'm only 10 yards behind him. So then I move up, and I'm like, holy crap, like you rattled my my ears. Yeah,
but that is, I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, on the bird that John and I got on last week, we struck that bird, and we didn't really know how far away he was. We knew he wasn't within a couple of points of us. But then as we kept on going, it's like, man, he crossed the holler. But then we finally ended up, he was on our side, and he came right to us. But, I mean, man, he blew our ears off when we finally got around the right point.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just like, bam, right there. Mm-hmm. There's so much of a difference in the sound, and if you're not used to it, you're going to pie face some birds.
Yeah, and vice versa too. Like like our sound, that even if we're like stumbling through a bunch of stuff 200 yards away, like that sound's going to carry over to the birds too, which I think is maybe what hurt us this morning a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I think after you brought it up, I definitely think that's what kept them spooked and kept them in the tree so long, is looking for predators. But it is what it is. I mean, you know.
But I've enjoyed learning about like hunting in this country, like in the steep hills. I've never hunted anything like this before in my life, so it's been a total learning process. I'm just trying to soak up as much as I can from it so far.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. It's a unique type of hunting, especially for turkeys. I mean, there's places in hill country and stuff, and even like the mountains and some of the areas that I'm hunting are not as steep or as like don't have as many terrain features as here. So it's not the same as it is here. I mean, here it's just like, I mean, you really are having to call at every little corner where you might be able to cover more ground between calling in that less steep country, if that makes any sense. And and it's just like it's just picturing it, like how, just looking at the terrain and like how it's casting, and just thinking of like almost like if you were to highlight it, of like, you say you're using sun shading on your map, and you can see if the sun's at this angle, what's lighting it up, what's in shade. And that's kind of the same way when you like, you're just doing it in your mind of how your calls are going through there. And as we were going through, I was looking at the map. I'm like, okay, I'm watching when you're calling and looking back. I'm like, okay, I see what he's doing, how you're casting those calls down in those places. And at one point we were on this kind of it was a ridge. It was kind of a knife ridge, but it had benches on either side, and we split up casting it so we could cover both haulers in one, at one time.
Yeah. Well, another thing is that we were calling a lot today, and normally we hoot a lot. Well, I don't hoot a lot because I'm not very good at it. Mac can hoot pretty good, and Zach can hoot pretty good, but I've got a hoot call, but Zach don't like to use a hoot call, so it's just his personal preference. But we typically hoot and try to locate. So, but we were calling and trying to strike one, and so the other end of that calling so much is when you're turkey hunting, it only takes 20, 30 yards, and you might be 20, 30 yards back, and you move 40 yards, and you call again. That might be all it took to get inside this turkey's bubble, and he's going to gobble. And so you call quite a bit, and you're getting in every nook and cranny, but you're also making sure you don't all of a sudden get in this gobbler's bubble, and then he face gobbles you, and you're prepared a little bit instead of going around that next point and he's standing there strutting on the bench. So you call a little bit more where we were striking so much, trying to strike so much, that just in case you do get inside one of these gobbler's bubbles, he might not be in that bubble where you was 100 yards away. Mm-hmm. But maybe the third time you call after leaving from there, you call again, then bam, he's right there on you because you got in his bubble. So you just want to, that's another reason why we called so much today, and trying to strike one up. And I kept on thinking, I knew, like, Bo talks about us just staying persistent and hunting, but like, it's just past experiences that, like, yeah, we screwed that bird up this morning, let's go find another one. Like, I knew we were going to get on another bird. And that's my mindset, no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're going to find one. We're going to find one. Well, we didn't find one today.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, share it with your buddies. Leave us a rating, a review, and subscribe. If you want to check out more content like this, there's plenty in the links below. We truly appreciate having you guys along with us.